This episode of ONTrack Weekly is in memory of Jeff Cassidy, co-owner of Sauble Speedway. Our heartfelt condolences go out to the entire Cassidy family and everyone associated with Sauble. Although I only had the privilege of meeting Jeff just once at Motorama this past year, it was evident that his passion for racing and love for Sauble Speedway was truly genuine. Jeff's dedication and enthusiasm left a lasting impression, and his absence will be felt deeply by all who knew him. May his legacy continue to inspire, and may his family find comfort during this difficult time. It's not always the way that people are a part of our lives. It's when we lose them, unfortunately, that it sinks in a little bit more. And unfortunately, the racing community for the second straight week in a row has lost someone. And we want to send our deepest condolences out to the entire Cassidy family and the entire Sauble Speedway family. I can't imagine having a situation like this on a racing weekend. A very somber mood out at the track, and it was rained out, and you know what, it felt like maybe that was the universe's way of paying tribute in a way. It's difficult to have these weekends, but with a tight-knit community like what we have in motorsports, it's nice that we can come together and remember those that impacted the racing community, like what we have had in a competitor like Bill O'Hara and of course Jeff Cassidy owning or co-owning a racetrack. The commitment that these racers provide to fans like myself, like you, for tuning in, it's going to be felt, unfortunately. And it isn't the first time that this has happened. It's not the last, unfortunately. We'd rather that didn't happen, but these types of situations do happen. So we want to thank Jennifer Hatch for the 100th episode intro. Yes, it was more based for stickers and scuffs than it was on Track Weekly, but I just want to thank Jen for putting together that nice little intro, and we're featuring her ride known as a Big Booty Judy right here in a great photo by Debbie Jo Zardo. And you can see we've got a brand new look. Hopefully this I can already see that maybe on the larger screen that we have to fix a little bit of the logos, I think. I believe I see some pixelation, and as people might know, I'm very OCD about a lot of stuff. So but one of the things we thought about is trying to make sure that we have a pretty easy to see and easy to read list of what's going on, and showcase the places that we do race on asphalt short track ovals. You will notice that Laird is not here, and that's not a slight in the slightest to Laird. It's just my own knowledge of Laird is not where it would need to be in order to do them justice. So but thank you to those that have tuned in. We obviously have a lot of stuff going on this weekend, a very busy weekend, but we also had a very busy past weekend. And I just want to throw a shout out to, once again, to Stronco 77 and Pedal Power for making races available. And that is the biggest thing as a racing fan that we need, is racing available. Racing America did have the APC show as well. But I want to give a call to two racers who put on one hell of a show. I'm not saying that there wasn't other good races, but I've watched, obviously, this race, and It to me was one of the best pure stock finishes I've seen. Nice, clean, and green. Cam Thompson from BT Racing, Leo LaBarbera, who just celebrated a birthday in side-by-side ride to the line at Flamboro Speedway. If you haven't, get out to Flamboro Speedway and see their pure stock division. It is by far one of the best in the entire province. The racing is fantastic. They do an inversion as well, and it really has seemed to really create mixed up fields and a lot of excitement. For myself especially, seeing new faces at the front of the field has been great. You don't have one driver going out and dominating every week. In fact, towards the second half of the season, Cam Thompson has definitely lit the wick and been much, much faster getting those wins for BT Racing, whereas the start of the season, he was struggling a lot. So that's the type of conversations that you can have. I saw some pictures from the stands, and we need people to get out to Flamboro Speedway. So this weekend is the week to do it, because tomorrow they've got the long-awaited Gold Rush. This is a $50,000, I believe, prize money with $12,000 to win for the super lates. Their full entry lists for the super lates and the pure stocks, which were added to the card for tomorrow, is I've heard my volume isn't good enough, so I just want to make sure that people can hear me now. But pure stocks have been added to the card, and that's really because of the amazing work that they've been putting on the shows that they have the entries routinely in the 20s. New racers coming out, competing week in and week out, that are coming in, being a part of that division. It is the one thing that you can definitely say is that they have a committed group of pure stock racers as well, that do a fantastic job at supporting their racetrack. And this is the thing we have to remember here. This is a Tuesday night race, so very different from what we would typically see on a Saturday. And this is a double shot, actually, because the pure stocks are in action at Flamboro on Saturday, and the Outlaws, the super lates, are in action at Delaware on Friday. So it's a double shot for both of them. Obviously, I have my opinions on super lates, and I'm my fan. I'm not the biggest fan of that series, only because I don't know enough about it. I really hope that they can get some promoting behind it. I think everybody has told me that certain things with that division changed over the and again, I'm still really new to the Ontario racing scene, but my understanding is it used to be under a different sanctioning body, so it's changed, and unfortunately that's resulted in maybe coverage not being where it needs to be. And the reason I say that is we want to be able to have knowledge of schedules and drivers, and I know of a couple of them, but primarily there's not a ton out there. I know Glenn Watson, I know J.R. Fitzpatrick and Sean Chenoweth, but aside from that, there's a couple other divisions that I would like to see a little more in terms of social media presence, websites, and the only way to improve fan turnout is if fans know what's going on. So there's going to be some drivers coming up from the States participating in this event. J.R. Fitzpatrick has obviously been a huge name across Ontario, so to have him, Sean Chenoweth, we have Kyle Steckley is going to be out there in a prepared car from Glenn Stiers. So they've got the big names coming out. It's just we got to get a bit more behind it. I think one of the things we definitely want to see is divisions thrive and succeed. I mean, there's a couple other ones in Ontario that we really don't see a ton of stuff put out there on socials for them, and it is necessary, and especially at a place that maybe doesn't get as much love as it should. I'd say Flamboro would be one of those places. The racers, so the passers are part of that as well. John Hicks says. I think Ethan Courier is part of that too. Dario Capriccio, Chase Wilson, Thane Halliburton, although I don't know if Thane races every event. And yeah, I don't. Maybe Gary McLean. I don't know if Gary still races in the super lates, but it's one of those things. If I knew a little bit more, it'd be easier to talk about it, but I don't. So, but this is what's happened, right? Is that I didn't know anything about Ontario racing, but thanks to G-Force TV in 2020, made it available. It made it available, and we got to learn a lot more about the Ontario racing. I fell in love with it, and that's what tends to happen. Is you get exposed and you get to learn a little bit more about the division, and I want to see kind of where's it going. I want to have faces that go there. I know, like, it's what I saw at I believe it was Oswego. No, it's not Owasso. J.R. Fitzpatrick there. If we can get a field to come up like that on a regular basis and compete with JR up here, because I believe it was the Owasso commentators were over the moon talking about JR Fitzpatrick. So if we can have some of those faces, I think there's the 3 right now on the previous entry list. I think there was 3 American drivers that are going to come up and going to compete against JR on his home turf. But they also have to go against like Sean Chenoweth, and I'm not sure who else is scheduled yet to be a part of this event. But the money is the one thing that it should be talked about. This is not a small amount of money. I mean, we see this occasionally on the dirt side, where there's some bigger purses, and like NASCAR Canada, they've had bigger purses at times. But to have this division and have pure stocks come along with it. Personally, I want to see somebody do a double. I want to see somebody do the pure stock race. So they're 30 laps, so it's a little bit more than what the regular pure stock race is. But have somebody do that and then go and do the Gold Rush as well. I'd be all for that. But yeah, I think it just needs a little more on the promotional side, and that goes for other divisions too, right? I think every division can use that track as well, and that's what I think we've talked about before. Tracks are the same way. So the one thing I'm starting to find is the young racers, the young people involved in motorsports, their social media, they're starting on it so much quicker than any racer that's been around for 20, 30 years, right? So we've got junior late model racers, Bandolero racers that are big on TikTok, Instagram. Not so much on Facebook. I think Facebook's an older generation thing, but there are racers that probably I would say are 13, 14, 15 and are huge on social media because it's the thing, right? TikTok is huge. And the best thing about learning as someone who's, the beginning 33. So something as small as a super late 10-second clip on TikTok can get seen by hundreds of thousands of people. I posted a clip from the Dale Shaw's wreck at Delaware from Rogers TV, and that got 30,000. And I've been doing social media stuff for years. I don't understand it still myself. Perfectly for like Instagram, but if you have somebody that's on a team, say for this Gold Rush, let's promote that. Let's get videos put out there, because people need to know about Flamboro Speedway. They need to know about this. This isn't the first time that the Gold Rush has been out there. I don't know if it's the first. People correct me, please, if the Gold Rush this is the first time with the actual super lates that are doing the Gold Rush, but you just let the more and more that you get it exposed, the more and more people will know about it. It's not the easiest thing to find audiences. Believe me, I've hosted podcasts now for a couple of years, and it is hard to build an audience, because it's not so much that having one-offs, it's building an audience that comes back each and every week, each and every day. And that's the other thing you have to do, is you have to not just post today, but you have to post tomorrow, the next day, like every single day. It has to be out there. And that's the thing that, even just doing stuff for OSS, for SNS, for ONTrack Weekly, it's overwhelming, the amount of work that you have to do on social media, to garner an audience, to get a couple followers, to get more and more people to tune in. Especially one of the things that's going to be really difficult is that getting an audience on, like, to physically go to the racetrack on a weekday is exceptionally difficult. But by all accounts, the count is looking amazing for Flamboro Speedway. I believe at last count there was close to 30, if not 32, bone stocks, or at Flamboro they call them pure stocks, but I think there was about 18. I'm just checking in right now, because Flamboro did post on their Facebook that they'll be putting the official entry lists tomorrow, so they still have time to register, but by all accounts it is looking really, really good. Their entry lists right now, so they're promoting there's 32 as of the 8th. There was 32 bone stocks that are showing up. That's for a Tuesday night show. That's phenomenal. Rich Schwarzenberg says on there that he has heard of 5 more that haven't announced, but that they were planning on being in attendance with cars. So 5 more on top of that. We have, okay, so it is 18 right now. So yeah, I mean, I would hope a little more, but if you think about a $50,000 purse, $12,000 to win, that is a great payday for those that are going to be a part of the Super Late Gold Rush 124. So let's see, 32, unbelievable, 32 pre-registered as of Saturday. 32, like, that is, and when I'm looking at this list, it's not a bunch of, from what it looks like, it doesn't seem like a bunch of, quote, traveling racers. There's a lot that are hometown racers from Flamboro. We go down the list. Brody Rickwood, that's a bit of a change. That's more driving for Nick Ramsey in the Brandy Point team. But Phil Givens, Chase Mitchell, Wade Thorne, Matt Young, Brian Batty, Courtney Scott, Tyler Mayhew, Alex Stewart, Spencer Riddell, Josh Gloss, Jordan Wilms, Haley Hill, Cam Thompson, Chris Lawrence, Sarah Penny, Rachel Mitchell, Mark Allen, James Houghton. Houghton kind of does the traveling thing. Leo LaBarbera, Jake Hambley, Mac Ingram, Dylan Peckham, Owen Brooker, Chris Burrows, Rick Mitchell, Joe Lawrence, Mike Hall. How about this? Chris Pendlebury. I haven't seen him in forever. Jake Watson, Craig Cole and Megan Mitchell, 32. And really, in that list, there's not a ton coming from. I don't know any of them coming from Peterborough. None coming from Sunset. A couple from like the Delaware with Chris Lawrence and Sarah Penny with Joe Lawrence. Grand Bend with Brian Batty. Matt Young, who also drives a mini stock typically, but that's phenomenal when you think about a Tuesday event. 30 to start. I would prefer to see all of them too. Calvin Reeser says start them all. I'd love to see all of them, or if you're gonna do like a race to get in, or I guess that's what I'm not sure what they're doing. Are they doing heat races, guys, or are they doing? I'm sure it's on the schedule here what they're doing, but based on it's a 24. It says 24 car field for the pure stocks, not 30. It says 30 laps. They're gonna qualify? Interesting. That's very interesting. Huh. Time trials. Hey, 30 will start. Well, I guess they must have changed. Oh, I guess they just put the payout for what it would be for 24. Yeah, that's what the pay is based on 24 cars. So the purse for that is almost $4,000 total. So it's $1,000 to win for a pure stock race. And the difference from first to second, it says, and again, based off of 24 cars. It's gonna be a little bit less, I would imagine, because you're gonna have more cars show up. Do you get any tow money, Rich? That'll be interesting though. I'm curious who Rich, because listen, in terms of inside knowledge at Flamboro Speedway, Rich Schwarzenberg is the name that has a lot of the inside knowledge. And he had mentioned in his post that he's got 5 other cars that were planning on coming out. So Gold Rush already. Now, for those that can't make it out, hopefully you'll see Pedal Power have the video. I don't know what their weekday schedule is, whether they're able to do that. John Caselli is generally paid tow money. Perfect. So if you have the opportunity to come on out, if you're a pure stock racer across the province, why not come down from Full Throttle? Go up from Sunset, Peterborough. We've got guys from Delaware coming. Sauble, that, whether you want to come all the way up from Sauble, I mean, they're not going to turn you away. Be a part of this huge opportunity here. Hell, let's try and get 40 to show up, really. I mean, there's nothing, the more cars, the better. And let's do it for Flamboro. Like, let's do what we can, because it's been a tough year for them. And we want to support racetracks, and we want them to come around, and having a big event like this is a way to kind of build that excitement back up. We're closing in here on the end of the season already. Like, we're already into August, so there's only a couple of months left. I think I counted 3 weekends left for Sauble Speedway in this season. So we're getting to that point where, Grand Bend and Sauble's seasons, they start to wind down. Everywhere else starts to wind down. You're gonna all of a sudden be at Velocity, Frostfest, and Autumn Colors before we know it, and then we're into the off season, and no one wants that. 3 for Peterborough. Who's coming from Peterborough? I'm maybe Ashley's waiting on making an announcement, so she might not want to tell me right now. But Peterborough's got some people coming out too. That's what you want. We had this past weekend, there was the Mini Stock Invitational, thanks to Ashley herself, McMartin, part of the, I believe it was Lakeside Tire that put that together. And 3 weekends left for Peterborough. And to put big events on like that, that's what you want. Lakeside Mobile Tire, yes. Incorporated, big supporters of motorsports, and not just the fact that they did that, but that they put it on for the mini stocks. Anybody knows me, I'm a mini stock lover. I love that division, and see Charlie Smith come out from Sunset Speedway. That team has had such a tough year, but they know Peterborough and they run really well there. So to see that you have a great partnership, putting up money for a special invitational like that. They had a good amount of cars out there. I think there was about 17 that showed up. It was a little chaotic in the heats. You can definitely check Stronco out for that. They had a little bit of the action featured there, but LRR, we have to make mention, of course, Rich bringing up Mike Schmidt bumped the purse to 1,000 to win, and BT Racing bumped the start money up. Again, without these amazing people, this stuff does not happen. Without people putting up the money, John Laval became an airplane in the mini stock division event, and then of course, like I said, the pure stocks don't really get a bit of a break. They get this race, and then they're going off to race once again this next weekend, and we're getting like down to the very end. It sucks because I really wish that we could have racing all year round, but we don't have that luxury right now. They're not the only things that are happening this weekend. It's not that just the Gold Rush tomorrow, but we also have NASCAR Canada up at Delaware Speedway. The Superlates are going to be there on the Friday as well. So Superlates got 2 races this week. NASCAR Canada with the V8 stocks on Saturday. Not sure what the field's looking like right now in terms of the NASCAR Canada side of things. It's been a little tough sledding for NASCAR Canada this year in terms of the amount of vehicles they've had, but that's mostly dependent on the location of where they've run. When they have done their Quebec races, they've been very, very successful. CTMP, very successful. So it just seems to be a situational thing, depending on where they're running each week. Fan appreciation at Full Throttle and at Sunset Speedway. Sunset's also got the TQ midgets in town to run with them. But fan appreciation is the time for fans to make it out to the racetrack. And it's not the only special event coming on for fans. Double tuning night for Peterborough Speedway. And one of the things I saw was flagpole races, but also reverse late model race. First time I've ever heard that on a schedule before, but I love it. I think that's going to be so cool. I don't really know how it's going to go because it's different. But I kind of love it. I kind of think that type of, everybody talks about like racing gimmicks aren't that great, but I don't know, something like that. You're all of a sudden you're turning right instead of left. That's cool. If that's what I'm thinking it is, but it might not be. Meet the driver this weekend at Flamboro as well. You can go and meet Leo LaBarbera and all the other studs in the pure stock division. Canadian Vintage Modifieds are out at Flamboro as well. And you know what? Like, this is the opportunity to do it. If you go and you watch Sunset every week and you want to meet your drivers, you can do that. Flamboro, you can do that. Double tuning night, get in for a much cheaper cost at Peterborough. See some amazing racing. Oscar is up at the beach this weekend. Hopefully there's no weather for the beach. They've had a couple of unfortunate rainouts, and then Brad Clark Memorial for Grand Bend this weekend as well. And Grand Bend putting together, they got junior sprints and their normal NASCAR classes. I think Soma is with them as well. Rick, Debbie Mitchell say Dylan Sharp added a bonus as well. I believe that was a 250 bonus is what I read. 250 gift card to Icon Era in Hamilton to the top finishing Honda Acura, courtesy of Dylan Sharp. Love to see stuff like that. Yep, so it's tomorrow, August 13th at 7 p.m., Flamboro Speedway. You know what? If you don't have something on the schedule, head out. It's not going to be too long of an event. It's not going to take forever and ever. You're going to have some fantastic racing with the opportunity to see something that not a ton of people do get to see on a Tuesday, which is racing. This is an opportunity to showcase the people that, and really, in my opinion, have been holding up a lot for Flamboro this year, and that pure stock division, man. That just, I know I've said it a couple of times already on the show, but the racing there has been, it's just been so good. And if you go back and you watch Pedal Power, honestly, if you watch Pedal Power and you watch that, I believe it was the first feature of the night. It was between the driver in the chat, Leo La Barbera, and Cam Thompson side by side. Fantastic event. Rachel Mitchell was up near the front. Really, really good stuff. And clean, which is what you can't really say the second race ended up being, unfortunately. It's been a while that I've seen a wreck that bad at Flamboro. They've, for the most part, been quite clean at Flamboro this year. And unfortunately, I hope Leo's car is okay, and I hope Leo's okay as well, because he got pretty crunched up in that. Wade Thorne, Rachel Mitchell did as well, and I believe Rachel may have suffered a little injury as well. We definitely don't want to see that, but it's definitely not what we want to see. The racing there. I literally I haven't been able to make it out to one of the races yet at Flamboro the Speedway, but I look forward to Paddle Power's videos featuring the pure stocks there. It's some of the most entertaining racing. It's so close, and there's been so many different winners. That's what you want to see. It will be back out hopefully by next Saturday. Well, let's hope so, Leo. We definitely want to see it back out there. We never want to see. It was like Friday at Oshweekend Speedway was nuts. I couldn't believe how many cars had not just small like wrecks, but like massive crashes. And it sucks. I hate seeing that. So more news from Peterborough. Also, Championship Clash Night on Peterborough will be drawing for one set of bone stock tires and one set of mini stock tires for registered Peterborough drivers who have competed at our home track on August 31st. Would love to see other tire shops step up at other tracks and do the same. Absolutely. 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 Especially in the world of expensive tires, having tire shops step up and support the racers it'd be a great thing to do, an honorable thing to do. And we thank Lakeside Mobile Tiring for what they're doing for motorsports this year. John Summermill says, always happy to help out when we are needed too. This doesn't happen without great people and great support. And we want to remember those as well that put that effort in. And it's like when we started the show today, talking about Jeff Cassidy owning a racetrack. As much as, this is the thing, people will give grief to owners and people that operate racetracks, but unless you're in that position, all you have to do, you might not like the rules, you might not like the people that are running it, you might not agree with the way things are being run, but you have to thank them in the end, because if they didn't own it, it's possible no one would. And I don't know about you, but I like racing, and I want racing around Ontario. It is something that is inclusive, as much as people like to put it in its own box. I had someone actually this week that decided to put their thoughts out, and they basically put it in a negative light, that it was only for a certain a certain type of person, which it's not. I think there's that misconception that it's only meant for a certain populace, or it's only meant for a certain race of person, nationality, backgrounds. No, it's for everybody. And the more we can get people involved, the better it would be. It is. We need support. We need people coming into the sport. We need people to support it and not be afraid of it and not try to harm it. Motorsports is not like hockey. It's not like baseball and soccer. It's not like football. It's the loudest. So it's always going to have people that aren't happy with it being around. And we want this to stick around. There's too many good people involved. There's too much great stuff that happens. And we definitely want people to be enjoying. And we don't want neighbors being upset and counties being upset. It happens way too much. And it's so easy for us to be defensive, but a lot of it comes from people not being aware and not knowing exactly what racing is all about. And that's why we're here to educate, rather than put our backs up and get defensive and be upset. It's all about educating. It's so quick for us to fight back and take a negative attitude towards people that are negative to racing, but a lot of it is, like we talked about, like I mentioned just a while ago, it's not being aware, not knowing what it's really about. I mean, the person that had said that it was for a certain type of person probably just believes it because that's kind of been the conception, that's been the thought for years, and we don't want that. We want people to come in. We've got amazing racers of all different talent levels, ages, sexes. And you know what? You don't have to always, you don't have to expect that people are going to understand. They're not. It's just the same way. Like I look at my opinion of certain other sports, like, oh, you shoot a ball in a net. This one, you got to work on a car, you have to tune a car, you have to pass people, you have to lead laps, you have to not have a mechanical failure, you have to not break. There's a lot of factors that come into it. You have to have the money to do it. You have to have some skill. I love it so much. There's so much about what we offer here and what our racers and the tracks do. There's a lot of great right now. Really, really good stuff. Yes, it's still very tough. But you got more and more people that do great things. Well, camaraderie, exactly. Ashley, it's you know, I love that camaraderie. That's one of my problems. You know what? I love the racing, but the family atmosphere. You don't. I was not expecting to feel so accepted and welcomed. And when I first started getting involved in racing, I did not. And still to this day it befuddles me. I was bullied relentless for being myself as a kid. And I came to the racing community and no one cares what I look like. No one cares, how big I am or what my financial status is, what shoes I wear, what teams I support. Yeah, sure, there's chirping here and there, but there's a lot of love and genuine care. People that will... I got a 35-year-old veteran of racing. Older, he's been racing longer than I've been alive, that I probably talk to 4 or 5 times a week and just joke and shoot the shit. It's the best thing. It's people that genuinely care because we all like the same things. We want to see people succeed. We want to see people at the racetrack. We want to see people live their dreams out. We want to bring new companies in. Sure, you're always going to have a couple of bad eggs in there that stink the joint up at times, but it is part of it. And for the majority of people, it's a family like no other. And I think we want to change those misconceptions, and we want to get new people out to the racetrack each and every week, bring new partners in, and by having a partner like we said, Lakeside Mobile, with Ashley tuning in, there's obviously something in it for them. We want this to continue, and we definitely want the car counts to be up higher than they ever are. And I think the one thing that is easy to get to look is to look at the negative. And it is such an easy thing to do. And I'm going to go out here, and this is why a show like this is important, because I will go and tell you I was part of that problem. I was part of there's only this many cars. I don't want to go to that race. What a terrible attitude. It was genuinely like, there's only 18 instead of 20. Like back now, I'd take 18 cars in a heartbeat. But back then it was, I can't. That's a terrible field, right? But go and meet. Go and talk to those behind the wheel, those working on the cars, those involved with the track. And you see the passion and the love that they have. It doesn't matter if there's 2 cars out there. It doesn't matter if there's a single car. They're going to put that same amount of passion into every single lap. And one of the names that you have to look at is like Gary Elliott. Gary Elliott's days of being a front runner, and he's admitted they're behind him, but he's run a 900 consecutive races. 900 race nights. He's not missed one. He's been with his primary partner, Quaker State, for over 55 years. He could quit. He does it because he loves it. I've got racers in OSS that don't have a dime to their name, and they'll spend whatever they can. They'll take whatever piece of crap they can find and put it together and build a car and put it out on the racetrack because they love it. You don't do this steal for money. You do it because you love. You love the sport. You love the people in it. You have fun. Sure, we can say it's an addiction at times. We have it. I had a driver I talked to this week who, every time I'm talking to him, he wants to buy a new car, another new race car. What we're late to the party on is the proper promoting. Now, we could go and say that, the tracks need to do that, or the teams need to do that. No, the fans need to do it. Why do the fans need to do it? Because we're the ones that are watching it and enjoying it. We talk about a lot of these racers, this isn't their job. They have a full-time job. Hell, some of them have 2 or 3 full-time jobs. And they do this on the side. It's avenues like GeForce TV. It's the friends and the partners like Strawnco 77, Corey Strawn, putting it out there. It's pedal power, recording races, putting it out there for people to see. Rogers TV London for putting Delaware Speedway. G-Force TV for giving the dirt fans Ohsweken Speedway. But also bringing you those special events like the APC series and Autumn Colors. You do it for the kids. You make an incredible experience that they're not going to get if they go to a hockey game. Very rarely are you ever going to go on to the ice at a hockey game, get an autograph, be with the players. You can do that at a racetrack. Hell, after the races, most of the time you can get into the pits after the races are done, chat with the drivers, get autographs, get pictures, see the cars up close. In most times, when you go to the racetrack, there's free stuff there. Thank you, Chris. Or Tubbs, as I call you. And the best part is that you don't have to go to just one track. You can go all over Ontario. You could go to a different province. You could go to a different country. They're still there. Now, I encourage people to try Sauble, try Delaware. If you've never raced somewhere, try it out. It might just become your favorite racetrack. It's funny. We talked about this as Sunset Speedway is my home track. It's the one that I go to, and it's become one of my favorites. But I'll tell you a little bit of a story here. And it's a couple of weeks ago when I got to announce, thanks to Brad Laval, who has mentioned in the chat that happened, to Peyton, Dave Sikma, and JP. Being up there with Charlie Toner, subbing for Ben Hodgson, who, if you don't know, is, and I've said this before and I will continue to say it, he's the future of commentary for Ontario Motorsports. The kid is phenomenal at 16 years old. But it was getting back up in the booth there. Sunset's become my track. It's the one I go to for coverage. I love everybody there. But the place that I went to when I was younger was Peterborough. We went to Mosport Speedway and Peterborough. I only went to Sunset Speedway for the very first time in 2021. Never been there before until then. And there's just a difference when you go to the track that you went and saw races as a kid. It's home. And all of a sudden, you get up there and you're at the track that you watched races as a kid and you're announcing. And it's not saying that I would not feel the same way getting to Sunset, but there's a difference when it's the one that you saw at 10 years old for the first time you ever saw the Sportsman Series. People know that I work with the Ontario Sportsman Series. The first time I ever saw one of their races was at Peterborough Speedway. First time I ever saw Thunder Cars, Peterborough Speedway. At first time I ever saw TQ Midgets and Legends, Peterborough Speedway. So this is what those memories are like. They stay with you forever. So let's bring more people out to the racetrack. You've got people coming out tomorrow. I know Brandon Feeney is going to be heading out to the Gold Rush. We've got double nights for Delaware Speedway as they get ready for NASCAR in town. Fan appreciation at 3 tracks. Brad Clark Memorial out at Grand Bend. Double tuning and reverse late models. Oscar is out at Sauble. Can-Am and fan appreciation out in Sunset. Thank you to Jennifer Hatch for not just being a friend of the show, but for doing the intro for episode 100. You see, we got a brand new layout for today. We've reworked our intro, and we're going to make sure that we wrap up on time today because they have a special Race Rivals Race Chat is on today at 8 o'clock. So make sure that you guys continue to stay tuned in here on GeForce TV. Adam Clinton back on air once again. But we're continuing to build this show up. 100 episodes. We started initially as the NASCAR or the Pinty Series Power Hour. After a while, it wasn't doing it. It wasn't fulfilling what I was hoping to fulfill, because we started to get to know grassroots racing, and the need, it felt like the need was there. It was needed. And we want to make sure that we continue to promote, not just on Stickers and Scuffs, but also on GeForce TV, because that's who started this whole thing. They started it for me, Adam and Clinton, Spencer, Glenn Stiers for all they do, having this channel. Greg Callan doing the announcing. GeForce TV is your home. They're the ones that put on all this amazing stuff, but we wouldn't be able to do this without them. So make sure you guys tune in and you thank them for all they do for us. I think they tend to be forgotten at times. Yes, it's Racing America, but they're still the ones that are doing that show. And they are not just doing that. They're going over for NASCAR Canada, and they're doing Oshwegan Speedway. I posted earlier today on social media, we're lucky to have those guys that have created this network, and we're going to continue to grow. If you can, make sure you get out there, like and subscribe to the channel. Continue to try and get up there. I'd like to see if we can get GeForce TV over the 20,000 subscriber mark. I don't think we were there yet. 18.7. So we're at 18.7 right now. Listen, 1,300 is easy for us to get to that 20,000 subscriber count for GeForce TV. You guys giving me thank yous and congrats on 100. No, thank you. And we're just getting started here on this show. We've got lots more to go, lots more episodes, but I want to wrap it up early so that we can get the big kahunas on. We get the big dogs with Race Rivals Race Chat coming on in a couple of minutes. Thank you all so much for your support. We'll be back for 101 next week here on ONTrack Weekly.